In the last couple of days, most of the sessions have looked at how best we can move Africa forward. Of course, you know the theme for this year is forging inclusive growth and creating jobs. And yesterday, at a special addresses, President Goodluck Jonathan and the Premier of China actually spoke on how best we can begin to forge inclusive growth and create jobs here in Africa. It's not rocket science from everything that he said. It's something that can be achieved. And so today on the program, of course, you just finished watching the Young and Restless. The youths are very passionate at how best they can also contribute to how this growth can be achieved. It's not a situation where everybody's going to be sitting on their hands. It's an all hands on deck approach that should be taken. And talking about all hands being on deck, in the approach that should be taken, how are the financial markets going to be keen into this financial inclusive growth and the rest of it that we've been talking about? I'm being joined now on the program by the Director General of the Securities and Exchange Commission, Ms. Arunma Oteh. Ms. Oteh, good morning and thank you for coming in.
I'm delighted to be here.
Now, it's a very good opportunity for Africa and Nigeria as a whole. Our markets are opening up. The growth we're expecting to see in the next couple of years is astronomical. From all the conversations that have been going on at this meeting, it's very clear that the growth trajectory of Africa is not here, it's in the future. And the financial markets play a very active role in this. Looking at the theme, how can capital markets forge inclusive growth and create jobs?
Well, first and foremost, the selection of the theme is apt. With Africa having grown by 5% over the last 10 years and our country, Nigeria, by 7% over the last 10 years, I think the next step is to think about whether Nigerians are participating adequately in the economy. So inclusive growth will help that. I also think that the focus on jobs is critical because jobs bring dignity. Nigerians are hardworking people, we're enterprising, and so it's great that the World Economic Forum in Africa is focused on creating jobs, that our government is focused on creating jobs. I feel very strongly about the role of the capital markets in that respect. And if you want me to say a few words about what I think the capital markets can do in that respect. Well, first and foremost, if you want inclusive growth, it is critical that, as you said, all hands are on deck. But I think the starting point is to understand why inclusive growth is important. Inclusive growth is important because we can have a much larger economy if more people are participating in the economy. But it also brings social cohesion. And some of the unfortunate challenges that we're dealing with today, we may not have been dealing with them if there had been a greater focus in the past on inclusive growth, with more people participating in the economy. So I think that the President's focus on inclusive growth is one that we must all contribute to. What can the capital markets do? First, the capital markets enable you create wealth. It is a meritocracy. It allocates resources to the most competitive companies, to the most important areas. So where we're looking at funding infrastructure, our huge needs in infrastructure, the African Development Bank has said that in the next 10 years we'll need about $350 billion. The work that's been done on the Nigerian Infrastructure Integrated Plan says in 30 years it's $3.9 trillion. So we have huge needs for medium to long-term finance. But we also need people to feel that there are opportunities for them to participate in some of the successes that we see in Nigeria. And what the stock market does for you is help you contribute or participate in that creation of wealth and benefit from it. So that's one. The second thing, which I think is particularly critical, is helping in redistributing wealth, helping in addressing some of the income inequality challenges that we face today. The stock market helps do that because a large company like Dangote Cement lists on the market. The average Nigerian can participate in the success of Dangote Cement. It can participate in the success of Nestle. It can participate in the success of flour mills. Recently, Seplat was dual listed. Yeah. The average Nigerian can participate in the wealth that will be created by Seplat. So in that respect, there's no doubt that the capital market can help in inclusive growth, can help also, I would say, in job creation. I think what the capital market does is really provide an alternative to banking finance for businesses. As we look to build our small and medium scale enterprises into larger companies, what the capital market provides is it facilitates an ecosystem starting from venture capital and private equity that can easily exit through the stock market, providing them opportunities to easily exit, or giving opportunities for companies that are small or medium in size to ultimately list on the markets.
But then, Ms. Oteh, there are some companies that, in spite of the huge profitability that they record, still do not want to list on the exchange, and so it now makes it difficult for interested stakeholders to actually have a strong role in how the company actually drives its growth. So, in looking at it in that way, how can that be addressed?
Well, first and foremost, advocacy. And over the last 4 years, the SEC, with the support of the Ministry of Finance, has been leading advocacy in large companies understanding that it makes good business sense to list on the Nigerian Stock Exchange. And one of the great examples that we've seen is the separate listing, both on the London Stock Exchange and on the Nigerian Stock Exchange. One of the first things it does for a company is have people recognize that you're a company that wants to abide by the highest levels of corporate governance because of the regulatory requirements. So from a status point of view, from a company that wants to be seen as doing business, doing things right, listing on the exchange is very, very critical. The other thing is, of course, that most businesses want to be assured that we have the building blocks in place, that coming onto the market will not be a constraint for their business. And the examples we've seen over the last 4 years of what we've done at the SEC, what the Nigerian Stock Exchange has done, has really given companies the confidence that coming to the market is actually beneficial for them.